Jung de Xin Xie Bo Zhe Jiang Bo Yang Dao Bo Zu Bi Sang Jie Shi Bo Dong Xiao Su Den Wo Xie Bo Ju Den Qian Bo Qiu Bu De Yue Ka Lu Jiu Lao No Men Bo Lao Dong Men Nong Jie Deng Bo Sang Jie Jiang De 别教我小家土包那相思路，求多教子亲我。当年做我去当子，杀千的那恐怕定不年。我年纪定的那求接送，第三开包去那相思路。 拿到跟我就都走上我，一些将做世界人不着，大半决定送那老爱我，公布去年就了相思路，三九点八正面大啤酒，三多找我去了相思路，六着警察四把送马街。 两面全见就了相思路，我不图就切点不，同结千遍真不不，是那一天叫足迹，一心写了相思路，大便的唱着我就给人送来主心。 就都等到求救不，先就去了相思路。这年这月老杨的，老爸到了十多年，先给当爸一点点，跟着老杨相思路。 要没交心，给我别送错把戏，让给3年用4年，天天上街听不厌。干嘛让人忙没当，就忙死我就不当。没让路到真到不，都是就能得到。 所能的月堂起是八音，我把当年君就着点点，高当那当起别老主别，随便做人着我着我有。
Thus I have heard. At one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of Vulture Peak Mountain, with a great gathering of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the samadhi of the many aspects of phenomena called profound appearance. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, saw the 5 skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son of the lineage train who wishes to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva answered the Venerable Sharadvati Putra with these words. Shariputra, those men and women of the lineage who wish to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look at it like this. The 5 skandhas should be seen purely in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form also is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, recognition, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are emptiness, and having no characteristics, they are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no recognition, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, and no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no phenomena. There is no quality of sight and so on until no quality of mind and no quality of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no exhaustion of ignorance and so on up to no old age and death and no exhaustion of old age and death. In the same way, there is no suffering, no origin, no ending, and no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since there is no attainment, Bodhisattvas rely on and abide by means of the profound perfection of wisdom. And since their minds have no obscurations, they have no fear. Transcending falsity, they attain nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times have relied upon the perfection of wisdom and have become true and complete Buddhas of unsurpassable, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the profound perfection of wisdom, the mantra of insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for it is not deceptive. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Teata om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi soha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva mahasattva should be trained in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and said to the bodhisattva mahasattva noble Avalokiteshvara that he had spoken well. Well done, O son of the lineage of this soul. O son of the lineage, since it is just so, the profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will also rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Sharadvati Putra and noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, and the entire gathering, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One.
Kanda sibi tsara mare mi don donge jizubi rozo ikuna buji dazi yana chuji yande son rodo chidu nyamu nyano leji jadu zhuzi chen Mare minse donge nyongo jenye junze redona dene doje saje daze yende lezo jase tuyungo jodo jenye jenje dale minse jambe yanlande Lord Bobby no re de jo la ko ren chen bi ko ne je zon de ko son tu je ngu zhu su do su bien so ge le xie yue zhen bi ko ta ye zhuo ye re wa gong ye song ma le xie jia ji jian si bi tu xia jin su wo de la su wo de tu ji qian bu de xin tu ji chang chuo zi de lu ba dan na ru ba bian juan zhong bi ba dan a di xia Nyāng lé xīn lō jū nā sō wān dē shāng bā tō mē yé nyé nāng zhō dē chō dē dē yé dē dāng zhō bē bē sē sāng gō sā lē nyé sē lē bā yā jīn shū bē jī nā sō wān dē jiāng yāng yé mē shū jī lē zhō dāng Da wa zhō bā rī bī ku jō jē gu jō bā bā yā sē sō sā mō dā bī jī nā sō wā dē xie zhō dāng bī chō ngā ā dē shā kā dāng dēng bī mē bō zhō dēng jē nian jō nā xie gu qī sō nā sō Kā tāng lā mā nā lā sō wā dē kāng jīn shū dē sū Je Tsongkapa ngā tō rī bī wā shū Je Tsā dō ngā tēn bī dā bō kē chū jē yā sē chū bā chē lā sō wā dē jiao sō gu dē lā mā tō jē chāng kā lā gāng dē xīn yé cū sō nē chō tāng tē mō ngū zhō sō zē pī chēn jē lā mā nā lā sō wā dē rāng jiāng sō rā gē lā dā yé mī kē sāng tā pā zhē bī jō ngā chō zē bī chū bī tā kēn zē bā yé sēn zē xiān yé nā lā sō wā dē jē wā gē dā yāng dā lā mā tāng zhē mē chū jē bē lā lōng shē jian sā dā lāng jē yé dē rā zō nē chāng kē gō bā nyē dā yé shō sā jē chū dāng sō jē chō nā lā shāng chū bā dō dā nē chō sō jē dā gē chū chī chī bē chō nā jē dā lā pē shē sāng jē chū bā shō sāng jē chū dāng sō chū nā lā shāng chū bā dō dā nē chō sō jē dā gē chū chī chī bē chō nā jē Lō lā bē shē sāng jē rū bā shō sāng jē chū nā sō jē chō nā lā shāng chō bā dō dā nē chō sō jē dā gē chū chī chī bē chō nā jē lō lā bē shē sāng jē rū bā shō tāngā tsā kīnō chē tērā kīnō chē tēchē tāngā tsā tōmā kīnō chē sēdē nē tērē kārī chē kī mbē sā chō chī tōngā dē nē chē tērā wā.
So, shaping our motivation is important in the beginning of receiving the teachings, and the way we are, the way in which that we actually shape our motivations is by asking a question to ourselves: for what purpose that we are here? What will I be doing by being here today? So this is the question that you ask in order to shape your motivation.
Tendri Ginzang Zang la su zhuwa man gen na rwa. Ma su zidi chu sen na karang la ten re ma to chu shewe tanda ke ma rwa. Chu sen di shi ji dibi tanda yin zane rang la ka lo ne tongpo rang ki kari che gu du ta go pe ke chi mu do.
So it is important to ask the question to ourselves right from the beginning of our practice of Dharma. Regardless of what kind of Dharma practice that one may be undertaking, but it is important to ask the question to ourselves. Because when speaking about the Dharma, Che in Tibetan term, Dharma literally means to subduing one's own mind. It is to looking inward and making a change within. That is what is meant by practicing Dharma. That is what is meant by Che or the Dharma.
인자 나 총 지단 이나 라 카랑로로 데 따지 제마도 나 가시기 개바이나 시준도 도면도.
If one is unable to look at within or look inward, and it is not possible for us to actually subdue one's own mind. It is not possible for us to to tame one's mind. So to tame one's mind, it is important to look at within, look inward. Without taming the mind, there is not possible for us to achieve happiness. So here, engaging in the practice of Dharma is not only a knowing Dharma intellectually, in other words, but rather the practice of Dharma here refers more towards by knowing Dharma, how much experiential knowledge that you may have gained out of, knowing, Dharma. So therefore, even though, there are people like in Tibet, it's my own experience, I've seen elderly people who have not really gone through much studies of the Dharma, yet at the same time, when you look at that individual, the nature of the expression and the nature of that person is so calm and subdued, and so much so that many people actually really wanted to be around that individual and so forth. Even though that such an individual has not really gone through extensive trainings of the Dharma, but due to his or her genuine faith and a fervent faith in engaging in the practice, really, makes the person, change that person's appearance and the nature of that person's. So here it is important for us to really pay more attention to our time, because the time passes so fast, isn't it? It is just momentarily, passing one moment to another. So the time actually passes so rapidly. So therefore, we really need to pay attention on our time, so that make sure that within the short period of time, although that you may have a lot of other things going on, you have to make sure that you actually set aside at least some time for practicing Dharma to subdue or to tame our mind. So so the time passes so fast and so rapid. If you think about the past month, it feels like almost a one moment. You don't feel that what the past months, you don't feel that that's been so long. The month that we have experienced in the past doesn't feel like it has been a very long time, but rather you feel like it is just a one moment. So therefore, time is not that long. So therefore, we need to pay attention and set aside a time for practicing Dharma.
아주 단단하게 쉬어본다고 이제 산나도 아니나로. 마음 버주 sombo지 연주 접부 sombo지 연도 문세에 단다 따지제다 자체체 백하버려. 인자 단 좋아지 도는 거네 소소를 자체체 돼야지. 자체 어디 게돼야지 마음 받는 대진 조지 선 매일 이제 더지다가 자진들이 이제 증거 인생이지. 소소소라 자체 어디 게때 투로 제와 있나? 대사지 마서 어떻게 또 받은 것도 저도서 말하다.
So at this time, if you look at ourselves and see what kind of cost that you are accumulating, what kind of cost that you are actually gathering, suddenly that we are getting a cost that doesn't give rise to a positive result, period. But now we should realize, we should be aware of what kind of that cost that we are accumulating. So therefore, we must make an effort to really to bring a change about, bring a change, make a change of yourself, make yourself a change. At least, even though that you may not give the 100% of having a positive result in your future, but at least as a practitioner of Dharma, one must make an effort to at least accumulate a 50% of positive cause so that we can have a 50% of positive result in the future.
전에 주로잖아 센데 뢰시시 저시마 데스데에 뭐는 지단다 인터넷하고 지다 신상주선 세대 데스바자 로아 카이라 고치주 맞서 간가.
So this is how we begin to practice our Dharma, by accumulating a positive cause. For that, which by means of accumulating the positive cause, one will also achieve the happiness of this, this life, and then the happiness of future life as well.
당가좀 미바쳐야 된다. 당가좀 미바쳐서 된 뒤진다게 근데 투병 뭐데 현재 되게 나발에 유해지. 네, 타고도랑 게 선제 당지 유해지. 다 되니기 된다 되니 내들에 제사를 해봐 예스지로.
So now let's take a few minutes to meditate by visualizing Buddha Shakyamuni in front of yourself, surrounded by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and being yourself in front of Buddha Shakyamuni, and you yourself is surrounded by all sentient beings, and having a fervent faith in Buddha, and cultivating a compassion, unconditional compassion towards all sentient beings. So with these two motivations, we then take a few minutes to meditate upon.
아야 다들 진짜 쳐다. 근데 당가 줬던 저 경로 치바 중에는 가슴 버셔 전에는 상주랑 저런 봐.
So with these motivations, the Dharma teaching that you are receiving today is the great teachings on the stages of the path to enlightenment, or Lam Rim Chenmo.
됐지. 됐지. 단 내 단지 러바나 이러와. 근데 가슴에 그 가슴 손샤나 된다 도도 랑기 주들 바고로 시지 랑기 시지 되는 바고로.
Regardless of how much Dharma teachings that you may have received, and how much Dharma text that you may have read, but the most important part for here is now, to whatever the teaching that you have received and whatever the Dharma text that you have read, must be, bring on the emotional level and make a change of your mind and to tame your mind.
그때 보시되 지당가 속에 장애인 있어야 돼. 의비 내슬려 열어. 이제 타년라 그런 장애인 인생에 지 열어.
So here, it is obvious that when you talk about the positive and negative, we're not just talking about, it is not a theory, just positive and negative, but rather the positive and negative does exist.
다 전부 가능전에 요구는 녀바 가능한데 요구도 세대니 전부된 데레셔서네 대유주로 녀바 데레서 대유주 가야 들어와.
So then what is positive and what is negative? What causes that negative, and then what is the cause of positive? So therefore, by identifying positive and negative, one needs to engage in the actions that become a cause for giving rise to the positive.
세리뼈도 시인 주얼라다네 대리 너시 인데 히데 저토고로 지체할
Just like a scientist can actually explain by focusing on the external elements, and then can give you the forecast, a weather, even the week after, the future, 1 week, after 1 week, the weather forecast can be given.
땅가 속에 녀네제 카랑로로데 추냐네쟁이나 지체 던질을 때네 아니 생긴 좋아돼.
So for us as a practitioner now, our focus is not like an external focus, but rather our focus is internal. So therefore, by focusing internally and make an internal change, and at least make some kind of assumption of giving rise to a change, able to change your mind in the future.
이 정도는 저기 뒤지 전속에 농로를 찾진진 나고면도 세야 돼. 가렌 나고요 말았으나 카랑로는 따지제 된다고요 말어. 지 내가 좀 몇 줘야 돼. 깔래 쉬지 저거래 돼. 강에 연대 지기 많단 말이야 성도와.
So his holiness was always say that, although that we all long for happiness and engaging in all sorts of actions to achieve happiness, we are always lacking happiness. Why this is happening? Which means that we are lacking the cause that give rise to happiness. We are unable to identify and unable to engage in the positive act that becomes a cause for giving rise to happiness.
단지세요 나 이게 생긴 낭시 인도도세 그래. 생긴 조안도는 따지 마져야잖아. 아니 대두대 뭐만세어라. 시중전 칼로데.
Because why this is happening is because we have a tendency of focusing more on external phenomena rather than internal phenomena, which will prevent us from understanding our own mind, or in other words, our own consciousness.
인산은 든지기 라마노와 대생의 지랑아로 저기다 신주제에게 거거지라바로 추순 타니 맞잖아요.
So we are having this opportunity, wonderful opportunity to engage in such a practice, to not really focusing on external causes and condition or the external phenomena, but rather focus on internal phenomena.
다 등은 사진로이다. 다 등주기 나서부 땡이긴 통바다자기 땜바. 아니 봐도 자가기 변주. 아니 타마. 아니 배지. 아니 변주기 봐도 도같이. 변주네 당한 랑게 사이라메 봐도 도되지. 주기지 받지.
So now the teaching that we are receiving is the source of the teaching is from Buddha Shakyamuni himself. Buddha Shakyamuni is the one who gave these teachings, and later it is transmitted to the great masters of the great Indian masters, then transmitted to the great Tibetan masters, all the way to one's own root guru.
다 대다기 송상이 기치기 치와대 아니 다징에 라데 저러 제 총산 가서 곧 대산에 시나 아니 다 낭시바기 내당데 시네 아니 장애기 좋아당도.
So all of these teachings are focused, focused on how to make change of our mind, how to tame our mind, by understanding the mode of our existence of our mind, by understanding, our, the nature of our mind.
등주긴 좋아당세디 시응업이는 티모이 로전데 집어 많이 봐. 아니 내라니 선하기 저 좋아선 소사 리전도 손전도 봐인잖아. 아니 경로져 봐서인데 선하사에 뺏기지 뭐라.
So therefore to bring about to tame our mind again here, it requires a lot of accumulation of merits and virtue. We need to have adequate merits to bring about change, internal change.
다 이제 봐 담은 거 이제 한번 제대로 이런 봐서 되니 되지. 근데 될라 니지 당은 로셔가 런지 자와 신이 되면서 되는 로치 다자 이런 많이 다 돈보는 돈보지사 다 되는 로치 다자 이런 많이 대된 가서 대된은 힘보는 비시 그거다 힘보 제단은 비추니 다 돈보라니 런지 나자는 게 바지세다 힘보는 뭐지 단임보 년생고들 성월에 지부 중년도 대모양 나지를 만야서는지 지부 전도 대모는 지부 첨비 대모양 아까 지부 첨비 나지를 만야서는지 다 돈버지자 다 지부 전도 대모양 나지를 만야서는지 제리 지부 전게 삼바정 대지비지 될 로봇도 봐서 타바다 대지비 나지를 하지 때나 배봐지 다 뒤에 나기 가서 타바다 대지비 나지를 하지 때나 배봐 시바지 아니 된저게 타바 된도 녀와라 때 가르지 거래서라이나 때때는 미율이 되지 아니 다 시바 간지 거르잖아 시바데 로바 소용 거는 야네로 그래 세대리 다 된다 고대 워.
So now we are on the chapter of under the heading of ascertaining the nature of the path leading to liberations. So here when speaking about ascertaining the nature of the path leading to liberations, so here what is meant by liberation, and how can we achieve, by what means that we can achieve these liberations? What kind of life form that one may require to achieve this liberations? So here, the life form, the most conducive life form for achieving liberation is a human life form. In other words, the human beings, and by achieving such a life form, what is required is to engage in the practice of the labasum, the three trainings of the three higher trainings.
대노에 가서 가르세나 아니 단다 주변 링이거 인산에 조 가르사 아니 라바 추천진 라바데 마도 아니 띵엔진 라바다 싫어지 라바니 아니 원 미식 사제거는 제바 송고 인산에 가서 라바 추천진 라바데 데스 제바시비 거킨데요.
So as we went through this the text we already talked about at this on this particular chapter, which is dealing with the middle capacities, is more emphasized on the practice of ethical discipline, the moral discipline, and the explanations, the elaborate explanation will be found the later on the concentrations, the explanation of concentrations and the wisdom will be found later in the the practitioner of the great capacities.
대체 당가 주는 주춘선의 송생로아 송생세디 대체 초고 말했으나 송생의 지당 지당네 송거지 인착으로 로 이종기 변의 종기 천존의 송거의 소리 지당 지당네 송거의 인착으로.
So the moral discipline and ethical discipline in Tibetan is a sutim, which referring to the sungsim, which means the mind that refrain from engaging in certain actions. That is what is meant by sutim, or the ethical discipline, or shila in Sanskrit. So, so now here, when it comes to the refraining from engaging in such actions, which is refraining from engaging in negative deeds, right? So then here, when speaking about negative deeds, there are of two kinds. One is naturally it is negative deed, whether you have taken vows or not. That's a negative deed, and the others is a proscribed. It is by taking these vows. If you have not taken a vows, if you engage in such actions, may not become a negative deed. But once you have taken a certain vows, there are certain, it's called what we call as a proscribed, which if once you have taken such a vows, then there are, in nature it may not be negative deeds, but if by taking the vows, if you are engaging in such a deeds, then this will become a negative deeds.
근데 팅더 님의 송거에 대한 가서 수화타 상생 상하지 담바송세디 담바송이 타녀적으로.
So that when speaking about vows, there are three different vows. Primarily the vows of individual liberations, vows of bodhisattva, and vows of sacred mantrayana.
대체 다들 진짜야지. 당한 같은 거는 이제 이제도 가려도 시주가 손바닥 매버 샤오시더래.
나온 참배시벌레.
네, 참배시면 돌레스. 당한 로인다.
Okay, let's go through the text now.
아니면 내가 이렇게 현재 됐어 조르노. 참배시면 돌레. 참배시발레. 로번에 땜바샤지. 대란히네 대샤. 대시 방범 자신 손이 셔요. 시메샤. 다도네 내바샤 류월레는 주바샤 셰당. 自证阳大把的面到来，言论大所的这些希望呢，还有自证阳些希望呢，得到满意了。第几些呢，所的这些希望呢，就按电力就测试办解决。自证阳些希望呢，就按帮助加一把的这段执行六万帮的，那么东岸全部阳是用完就了。现定这段节的各自把大是所的的送把下午是没有把落了，挺少把的。落下你。
So, so here it is 344, because I'm right, 344, the second paragraph. It says, as the sutra requested by the Brahma says, right? Rely upon the trainings, undertake them earnestly from the heart. Do not give them up later, or break them even to save your life. Always maintain them diligently and engage in the discipline. Moreover, as the Buddha described in the sutra on the having pure ethical discipline, Shila Samkhata Sutra, using reasons that you should keep your ethical discipline even at the risk of your life. Then here it's going to read, amongst to lose your life and die is excellent, but to ruin and lose your ethical discipline is not. Why? Losing your life and dying expends only the lifespan of this rebirth. But if you ruin and lose your ethical discipline, you will experience a great downfalls, separating from your lineage and giving up happiness over 10 million times. 10 million lifetimes, sorry.
되게 된다대로 된다. 수케련 사는 세트인데 배는 진짜라. 이 봐도 속에 신 송고래스. 게시 마소나 아니 님이 되다 용거를 써야 되로.
So what it says is no. Once it is important to really observe those ethical discipline, follow this ethical discipline once you have taken the vows, and even at the cost of your life. So even a very minor discipline, ethical discipline, one must put an effort, exert an effort, not to, let one's ethical discipline undergo degenerations.
뒤 단대 소탄도 때 세부 수준도 아. 저저 백고대도 아. 이게 저거서 말이야. 세자. 인자는 시시가 말이야. 다 건제 대체. 제가 가송이는 내 단지 세워는 이 카란 로고를 세디 지 말에 소속이 고송을 같이는 따지제. 너 춘춘춘춘 열로는 해지라고 랑가던 로디 좀 늦지면서 면하는 도 따는 로. 송세요나 된 로그리.
When speaking about, looking inward, that I spoke earlier, looking inward means analyzing your actions of the body, speech, and mind, and always, being cautious about your actions of the body, speech, and mind. That is what is meant by, looking inward.
된주기 송산데 내비고네 매개 주봉이 수준의 송통에나 이게 단지서 나기 자체에 두고래. 저시만.
By engaging in such ethical discipline, observing ethical discipline, and able to engage in, able to abandon the 10 negative actions, then as we spoke earlier, that we can really, give a, 100% of gaining a high rebirth in our future life.
송생기면아 인비선을 최최최전 론데비선을 지레마도 기기 희지던 데야 말이로. 변에 대령 가서 찾아다. 대령 카랑로는 단어쇼기는 단다발을 지제다. 송생지기 심비 천원 여 말은 가서 가갈.
So when speaking about observing ethical discipline, we should have a mentally, refraining, deliberately refraining from engaging in negative actions. Not just mere by not engaging in such an action will not become a observing negative. It will not become a observing, ethical discipline. The ethical discipline, observing ethical discipline means to refraining yourself mentally from engaging in negative acts of the body, speech, and mind. That is what is meant by observing ethical discipline.
그렇지. 근데 이제는 제스셔와라 다니다긴 거 다니다기 도시 되러 자생에 근데지를 선는 거로.
It is therefore the Shantideva stated that you yourself is your own protector and you yourself is your own enemy, isn't it?
근데제당 오늘 소속이 주기 과대서게 많이나 소소솔에 대화때 두고 소소솔 뽑아때 두고.
With this kind of practice, will really, if you really engage in such a practice, it will really give you at least some level of happiness. It gives you a change in your, in your mental attitudes.
대민은 나이 온도 조선의 라지대지 바래. 라지잖아 천하기게 매와 야조의 장애다.
So otherwise, if we will always remaining under the influence of mental wandering. So once you have remain under the mental wandering, then there's no difference. There's not much difference from someone who is completely drunk, right?
네, 라지는 지는 변의 종교사다. 지보지. 라지긴 걸론 점을 때서는 미세 땅에 지보티 미세 진 땅 말사. 변의 지보지. 거기 따지 제스거다. 전부 땅다 명인 형바지다. 라지니데 다 통보지 같이네. 이거 유로제도. 구바데 총로제도 뭐. 이거 형 라지티 베티 세텐체는 신나제도. 디젤에서는 형 라지 인체제로 그 트레이닝 로장. 그 트레이닝 미스지어요 말사.
There's one story, about a king who imposed rules on the people who are drunk, people who are drunk, because normally in that particular kingdom there used to be not much restriction towards someone who was drunk. But then he was wondering, is that really fair to do that, And then he compared someone who is mentally ill and the drunk person to who is more cautious about themselves, in terms of being, self-cherishing mind. You see, so now the king actually took them to the, on the very rocky mountain at the edge of cliff, and then king is actually pretending to push them off the cliff. But the individual who is mentally ill has no feeling at all. He doesn't care, Even if you push off the cliff, he is ready to go. But someone who is drunk, when it comes to the self, he is able to, cherish himself. So therefore, from that onward, the king actually imposed a new rules. Even if they are drunk and they have done something bad, they will be punished. There will be consequences.
대저디 저던 것을 라지레스디 베틱 자자자게 베트면의 쇼샤에도 개인사 말어. 저저 그게 팀 카운트스는 라지레스의 팀이 진작 말사. 무슨 발 라지도나 뭐도 돈 주고면 돼. 알아통세 개만 넣으면 돼. 세대들 베트 처음에 명예래면 돼.
So here when it comes to that protecting oneself and based on self-cherishing mind, even someone who is completely drunk has this kind of sense of caring him or herself.
간증 가서 내가 최식 대거를 송세의 전파된 거로. 송세의 전파된 또는 소수 개개 소수년은 로디오래.
So what I mean to say here is now to really rely upon our sungsem, which means the sungsem, which means protecting your mind by refraining from engaging in negative deeds, mentally refraining from engaging in negative deeds. If you're able to rely upon this kind of mental attitude by mentally refraining from engaging in negative deeds, and then you are actually always being with your teacher. It's almost like you are being with your spiritual teacher.
that's it. 가서 소던 데도 송아 샤오지로 다 대다 많이 나서 알레테 조게는 된데 손도 대다 많이 나다 자체신 그 의미 건반에 네 되면도 녀도 삼바 샤데 딩엔지 잡올래 산제 템반 데라 로드 쇼네 디빌레나 신도 쇼바시 노던 저던 힘본 뒤시신 신당 반랑 신당 나라 차 강라로 비네데 매반나 대다 계정 시진 지시 안에 가서 고제 시에서 시로 근데 가정으로 이제 나도야.
That's all.
되절로 샤.
So let's read through the text again here. It says, you should think, if this need to keep my ethical discipline at all, the cost were not the case, then shaving off my hair and donning the monastic robes was pointless. It is mainly for the monastic, the monks and nuns here. For as the King of Concentration Sutra says, after you have renounced the world and gone forth into the Buddha's teachings, you engage in sinful actions and attach to mount and oxen and chariots. Have the idea that wealth and grain are essential. Why did you make no effort to train in anything? Bother to shave your heads. So it's still, it is a little bit scolding to the monks and nuns.
당가서 배는 희망가서 배는 옆에 깔란 눈으로지 자고래 내랑 자고래 면 저 먼저 되면 손하게 카소하게래 송전은 그 저고래면서 감각에 내가 계속 말도 송전은 배색한 양이 돼 꾸쇼래 면서 나가서 배는 이걸 되다 다 데려서니다 먼저 야보 차도
좀 이게 순 맞다 미디어
이만데 단단가서 다 자와져 가서 감각 자와래 간제 자세도 개개가 말이 먼저다 아우 돌로 경거를 짜다 박으러 이만가서 배는 옆에 깔
맞아
데리고는 소게 나이 카소게 감각 자와 차 그래 대차도 거기에 총적은에 강을 제거는 노두거는 가르쳐거는 그 제거로.
So it happens in Tibet, Now it is becoming a little bit better, but Rinpoche said when Rinpoche was in Tibet at that time, although he shaved his head and and taken the vows of monastery, vows of novice, and yet at the same time he has to, go through all those mundane activities of doing all kinds of, mundane job that I need to really to take care of their families and so forth, and doing all this business, and even becoming a caretaker of family and so forth. So this is probably, I mean, this when you look at these passages, it really is true that the monks actually, there's not much, there's no point of shaving their heads and donning robes if one is unable to really observe the vows.
Typically, Gomba Insan at the Jasa Kemada, Kaganan de Dure, Rochil Tini Sogre Guruchen, Temada Soyama.
So at that time, we didn't have much time to really to gather at the monastery. Even 1 year, we gathered, all the monks gathered at the monastery 2 times only. Most of the time, just go home and stay at home and do all kind of things. Yeah. So nowadays it is changed. It's become a little better.
So Rajuna Chine Barodo should say Teredo. Now the Tegudo.
So we have, although that we become a renunciated, and the name that we were called, we retained the name of a monk, but then we were still attached to the, to our family members, and being involved with the family members, the day-to-day activities and so forth.
다 자하는 레드 되니 다 전에 베디 타와랑레 레가칭에 검바 크로지 제오르 칼라는 지바기 땅용거리 강아 동선에 베세다야 되마도 레가치예요 말이.
So when I came back to, or when I came to India, then I felt that's really different experience that I had. In India, then you are always at in the monastery, among the Sangha communities, and the food is provided by the monastery, and our main job is to study and, and practice.
So called so intention joboreda kanga denyo shawanyo goesa ke mare jibo shujere the there is only chachen yaboreda yang ta chachen chenso kain doro chachen kan zamba denagi lega ma chagudo ngaso call be jibo ngaso lojo call gegen chane gegen pi tabo ngaso do koko shu yaborasha.
So I really feel that in our time, I came to India at the right time. It was really a, we have a wonderful teacher, spiritual Dharma teacher at the monastery. We did not have much distraction as we do now. Now again, although there's a lot of wonderful teachers and all so on and so forth, but now that due to all those distractions of gadgets and iPhones and so on and so forth, there are a lot of obstacles now. That really prevents them from engaging in practice and studying the Dharma. But in my time, I really feel that I came to India at the right time, without having all those distractions, and having a wonderful chance to receive the teachings from the wonderful teachers.
That's it. Chedang sosa teda chedang ina chu kongere ina nga so mocha deta damba kayo ro chi dengere ro haba de pe changri damba mendenge peche yo mare tangene nga so mocha de damba lego 인산에 담발 인사데 담비 소세테리 담발렌 가르쳐 있으니 가죠 지송라고 왔다 간제로.
So now it is actually in this explicitly, the masters are actually scolding at the directly scolding at the nuns, monks, and nuns, but indirectly scolding at all of us. We all have vows. We all have taken at least a refuge vows. So we really need to, protect our vows and making sure that we're not engaging in any actions which becomes a cause for declination or the degeneration of our vows.
디시 퀄리티 디시 퀄리티 번더네 데네사 타비 종첸도 로알라 수준지 강바 냐나네 로미니바 마제 퀄레라 코신 동현진 동현은 좀바 빼다 제대 띵현진지 잡벌레 송도돼
Let's read through the text again here. You who seek to escape from cyclic existence, the composite, and to reach the city of liberations will not be successful if the feet of your ethical discipline are unsteady, right? Not only that, you will return again to cyclic existence and be destroyed by suffering. The Buddha spoke of this with an example in the King of Concentration Sutra.
당가조 이들 담아들러 디시 퀄리티 봐 세제도 디시 퀄리티에 맞춰 가르래 동네 손전원에 동네 차시오데 다 코아세 동네 코이 진봉버생이 동네데 저번 디시 동네대로
그래서
다 코아세 선은 저번 디시 동네랑으로 왔다.
So here it says, you who seek to escape from cyclic existence, the composite, and to reach the city of liberations. So now, if we seek to escape from cyclic existence, free ourselves from cyclic existence, we need to free ourselves from sufferings. When speaking about sufferings, to gain this freedom from cyclic existence, it is not adequate, simply adequate to free ourselves from the two levels of suffering, the suffering and suffering of change. But rather, here, whether or not one has gained the liberation from cyclic existence is met on the basis of whether or not the individual has actually freed him or herself from the third level of suffering, which is the suffering of conditioning or the suffering of pervasive suffering.
단다지 맞수지 세리반다고 지긴 가서는 쓰다는 저기 가르치고도 당연히 지난 것좀 희세를 마보 쉬질 되더라. 그래서 저기 된된 여자도 그때 동현이라 로. 다 동현지 동현다 유쇼로. 주 동현 코로나토는 소할 배제도 되더라. 메젠다지 따지 정에는 쪼보 쉬질 되더라. 그래서 동현지 알아다는 갈래져도 그러.
So most of the time, if you look at ourselves, when we are engaging in such activities to free ourselves from sufferings, our, the way that we long to free ourselves from suffering is a very low level of suffering. We're not talking about, we are focusing only on the gross level of suffering. That is, we identify that this, for the gross level of suffering as a suffering, and we long to free that level of suffering. We do not look further, that we're not actually deepening insight into the subtle level of suffering and trying to free ourselves from the subtle level of suffering.
당 나서기 단도 천하제와에나 나서기 될은 주 동해 마테린 풍부될 댐비기 좋아 주 동해 사제지 배 세심벌로 논셔거네레 차선은 도망을 마테린 대소리지 가서 천하여로 된 랑가 때마다 문도 세지로 배나 차선은 정부 제국을 세지로 저것도서는 칼라사국을 세니 간제 사제기 소화돼도 코노 장이 돈마도 될렌 대와지당 가서 풍부될 문도 세지지 가서 센제열에 러러그로.
So this is, our, way of, pursuing, achievement of happiness is the happiness, what we call the zakshigit, which means the contaminated suffering. Contaminated happiness. We are not recognizing uncontaminated happiness and how we can really achieve a cause that really give rise to the uncontaminated happiness.
tel tengo bi chaba jin mindoa member karisason은 되네래요. 마수기 빼네 강고마 이게 빼나 마수 던지기 가르치는 데는 민도 다 간제 강오마라 라바데 가마라 시와타네 시라나 체제랑라 때네 센디기 풍보도 여해지면에 걸라 사제지 초알 뱃 제통이 열어.
So So here, if you really engage in the practice and try yourself, we can really go beyond those contaminated happiness. We can really go achieve beyond contaminated happiness, but rather uncontaminated happiness. For instance, even within this lifetime, if one engages in the practice and meditate, we can mentally reach the heightened level of existence. In other words, we can have experience of the experience of the form and formless realms. Just take a break here, 15 minutes break.
당연히 로인다. 단지에 대세더라도 당연히 때 쉬우 중고 로그마도 수도 소매도 상대도 소매 나시 타에 봐도 콩고마 방전 중에 되게 사제기 초와 될래 예보다네. 되리잖아요. 베디 지음에 받아. 단단한 속에 대원진데 동해랑 신다네. 베디 이게 봐도 종에 진세더라도. 패턴은 시즌 거지 받은 종에 되게 단단한 속에 근데 단단한 속에 미거라 사제지 초와되와 초든 세지 될 님이다네 콩고마 상대 이름 상대 이름은 조메 이름은 줘야 돼 다 타도네 저번 대시지 동해 매번 맞아 봐도 아니 코아데 밤도 도레마도 동해 니보들 매보서야라 비야 톰 로고면도 진짜 내가 틀어
So, although this explanation will come later, but then here let's touch a little bit about it, is to how to, eliminate those two levels of sufferings. In order to eliminate those two levels of suffering, that doesn't require a wisdom that understands emptiness directly. In other words, even without achieving the wisdom of understanding direct realization of suchness, one can free oneself from the two levels of suffering and suffering of change, which the practitioners who are completely disenchanted by those happiness, or contaminated happiness, in other words, and free themselves from the feeling of happiness, and by freeing those two levels of suffering, the individual can reach those heightened state of existence, such as form realms, formless realms, namshetai, which means the infinite consciousness, and chiame, which means non-existence, and so forth. Those are the name of the stages of the heightened states of the existence. So by eliminating those two levels of suffering, one will be able to, reach those levels of, heightened states of existence.
네 도문 디시지 고아생에 고아 가르는 것은 저번 디시 동네를 고아를 살아다.就是别什么龙眼呢，对고아 지낸 거这个的，他马路呢，他就加入了。
So here, 디시
고아를 때 저번 디시 동네 가서 동네 고아진 풍부성이 지나 저번 디시 동네랑 뭔지 정도.
So here in when you look at here on the text, it says so ethical discipline you should take ownership there. Did you call it So you should seek to escape from secular existence, the composite and to reach the state of liberation will succeed if the feet of your ethical discipline is will not succeed if the feet of your ethical discipline is unsteady. Not only that, you will return again as is destroyed by suffering. So now here, destroyed by the suffering, and this suffering is understood in terms of the third level of suffering, which is the suffering of conditioning. And this particular suffering, we're not speaking about the two gross level of suffering, the suffering of suffering and suffering of change. Rather, it is actually referring to the third level of sufferings.
Da dingen se jabo le che ro. Me shi chongge mongbo rab se ne sa. Suan de pe zhe ro zang na. Dene gangban ro xin ju me ni chongge da ge de zong zhong ba da. De je ci zhen yang bi mo ba yi de xie da le zhe ban de me jiang ci zhen yang bi de yang zhe me ni. Na ga che da ge xin den zhong xie song song de.
So let's read through the text again here. The King of Concentration Sutra says, in the King of Concentration Sutra, says, when a man was attacked by by a gang of robbers, he tried to escape because he wished to live. But when he set out, his feet could not move or run, and so the robbers caught and subdued him. Likewise, a confused person whose ethical discipline is impaired, through wanting to escape from, though the wanting to escape from the composite cannot escape because of impaired ethical discipline, and is destroyed by the illness, old age, and death.
Teach. That one day she was given to Daroa. To train about my son, that Tabatanji Chamo used the Josh and Mayuli, then really did on the Totu Maroa.
So if one is unable to, observe the ethical discipline, let alone achieving the state of liberation and omniscience, state of omniscience, it will not even lead oneself to the achievement of high realms as well.
Tena do karsa tena do telere do tenile indo tengi je indo chimba chao tanji terendo chimba chao gojan la ale nge ne loba kanshe ba den tese geno te da la loba te ya me ba je she sum ba ta che gene la sum bi lobi je nga yo su zo ba sum geno la ya me ba sum bi du dere sa loba la zon ba ne So
here again, therefore, as this sutra says, the King of Concentration Sutra, I set forth trainings for householders wearing secular clothing at the time. These monks did not have even these trainings. The Buddha says that in this time, when even monks do not completely maintain the 5 fundamental trainings, he taught to lay practitioners. Effort in the trainings has an even greater fruits. Therefore, you should strive to maintain the trainings. The same sutra says.
Tingasu di tanda tere, chidayana tingasu dyunima se te sebo sejare roa. Dusula tene damba soya kawa. Dusula tena ini nyuma rapa chawa. Dusula sebo sejan chagore. Tindri yikao tela, ta loba yonzo soya yusho da tanda chimbala soya ye ta karare genyeje damba yana loba nga. Yonsu zoba pene genyeje damba da wachi sonye ye geno mebi kao chila. Loba naji songa yana penya loba te chegire songa roa.
So benefit here is by observing the ethical disciplines, the benefit of observing ethical disciplines at this degenerated area, it says, the time of degenerations. And it's a great benefit, If we were to compare that, the benefits of ethical discipline, observance of the ethical disciplines to the time that is not degenerated, time that is not degenerated area to the area of degenerations. By observing this 5 ethical discipline is even greater than the someone who actually observe all those ethical disciplines such as novice and fully audience vows and so forth. If you were to compare those benefits to someone who is observing pure observance of the 5 ethical disciplines, the benefit is greater than the someone who observed entire vows at the time of non-degenerated area, in other words.
Telo mas peja tenere. Pena sanje je temba de nyama na ji shabi ko de la lo da wo shema do pa tu la de sanje ni han se ke yo ma le so. Mi se chas ke yo ma ro. Ani nyama jenu me da na gon chabi ko la shema pa so na se cha yo ro as pet ne ja.
Just like at the time when the Buddha's teaching was completely flourished, and the teachings were everywhere and the great beings are nearby and so forth, and it is just like just like a flashlight, that if you turn on your flashlight during the daytime, it has not much power. There's not much power to the flashlight, right? In the same manner, in the degenerated area, it's just like a darkness. Within the darkness, if you turn on your flashlight, it has a great power. You'll be able to see. It will, dispels the darkness so that you can find a way to get out of here. So this is the example how the greater benefit that we may gain out of observance of the even 5 ethical disciplines at the degeneration areas, at the time of degeneration.
Pena nyumo gi longsu no lo la ani shima pa tu na yang sen res. Longsu maybe ko la shima pa tu la te chang je yang sen ya ma de so pe ten de ja. Ro longsu dong mo ko la shima pa tu na shu ro. Nyumo gi longsu de dong bi ko la ani nyumo shima de pa tu na yang sen re ma do longsu maybe ko la shima pa te chang je yang sen ya ma de.
So just like again we take another example, when there's no wind blowing, so it is easy to light a candle. When there's a wind blowing outside very strongly, and if you want to light the candle outside, it is not that easy. But if you're able to do it, it is great, right? So this is how it is. When there's a wind, it is very hard to actually light the candle.
Chi chen wo ne ta ge ro ma da sanje ka chi sanje chi ko la ba yong su zo ba song ba le tin kha ma de ji la ne la ba na ji so na phe che san do no so chi chen wo ne ta ge
We may be able to touch that area, that part, but it says during the Buddha's time, someone who actually observed all the vows, precepts, the benefits of this is even greater than that if you are able to observe the ethical discipline, the 5 ethical discipline at this time, at time of degeneration.
Che ta yang lo wen da do te ni le che ke ba kang ge shen ni de dang yi sen che se dang gong nang dang du dang ba de ma mi chen wang yi sang je xia wa cha zhe ren duo xie gang ge dang che ro den ji ba dang de xie den bang ga ba ju bi ce nian chen de ne lo ba ji xue ba sen nang de ne de xie da pa xie song bi xie ro song de zhe.
So here, let's read through the text again here. For the same sutra says, for 10 million eons, as many as there are sands in the Ganges, I serve with a pure mind, food and drink, umbrellas, banners, and processions of the lamps to 10 quadrillion Buddhas. So much greater is the merit of the merits of whoever practice a single trainings night and day, at the time when this sublime teaching is perishing and Sugata's teaching is coming to an end.
시스미 쇼로지 데데히 제모가지 제야 동아 쇼양 샤베 추냐네 신치 메지비 당세메 번주바네 센도 슈주베 추세넨도 두사와탄 다테 네 샴바싱기다윤 도레 소도데 티춘준 티춘로 내가 됐어도 됐어 아니게 저는 로샤고
So it says, furthermore, you might think that even were you to incur an infraction, you could confess it afterwards. However, in this case, you lack an attitude of restraint that prevents you from committing the action again. So engaging in this infraction is like eating poison and telling yourself that you could always take the antidotes later. For the lion's roar of the Maitreya Sutra, Maitreya Maha Simanada Sutra states again.
데데 건설로 유년 시우제로 맞수 가제 리바 춘주데 치세잖아. 데다 개체 말이 춘주레서 예지로. 아니 디기 춘주데는 주버 맞이 신체 메셰비 당세 메비 토네. 인골로 되는 제샤고.
So it happens to us because we have a tendency of letting go of minor infractions, minor degeneration of our precepts. We don't care. Oh, this is just a little bit. That doesn't matter. But what this really does is, it is not preventing you from engaging in such a negative deeds in the future, which again will not. Then if you keep doing that, that become a habit. You become a habit of engaging in such an act, and then eventually you accumulate those minor degeneration of your negative degeneration of your ethical disciplines, and then at some point it becomes so great. So then you will not be able to, engage in any practice that can, purify those negative deeds.
나보다 가서 때는 배잖아 대로 앞에는 총통세에 대로 때스데 개체가 말해서는 통 디비 로봇들이 아니 되는잖아요. 배트 총통에 자야 되는 뭐 보러.
Just like take another example. Sometimes people might say that, let's have a little drink, and then you go with your friend, and that's a little bit. You just take a sip of drink, and then you keep drinking it, and then you become a habit of drinking, and then finally you become uncontrollable. You will not be able to control. That you become so enthusiastic of drinking alcohol. So this is how this goes to the same with ethical disciplines. You should not let your ethical disciplines undergo degeneration, even as it's a minor ethical discipline.
그래서 가서 근데 배가지 가서 그 전로이 봐. 그래서 가서 군다 전로데 때때 통금 벨러스 거 좋거든. 지레스 통금 밀러스. 데스 개체 말러스. 예 러이 저 가디는 라통 라기스 타바데 용주 진 마게스라이로. 그래서 배바에는 자세 통 우주수제자 창라기 리스 타바데 그 통금 민사 다가라 자마도 데스 통 진 말러마도 땡이 받쳐버려다스 라이바. 내가 쇼여래.
Yeah, recently I visited one of the Tibetan family home, and then there was another guy visiting from, his friend also visiting at that place, and then that owner of the place actually offering him a drink. You want a drink? And then the other guy said, oh no, I don't want to drink today. And he was just forcing him, just have a little bit. And then Rinpoche said, right away, he just, stopped him from forcing, just don't force him to drink. It's such a big, that's not right at all. So if someone doesn't want to drink, don't force him to drink.
ngaso da de wa jejang de yang chi se jian de tong su na ra ji kan ma de xia de liu wa je dan ji bian de chong de tong de jejang de da chi se jian de tong su yin na ko ra ji kan ma jiao chai.
Although that the drinking alcohol is said to be a proscribed negative deeds, or the proscribed negative deeds. But then if you keep drinking, it will become naturally negative deeds instead of proscribed negative deeds, right?
就是开始呢，先把单亲能力，先把能力已经没错明个做下了，没错明个做下的，你没偏没都给做下了，感觉没让心没那么做下了。
So, this, if you keep drinking alcohol, then what alcohol does is the functions of alcohol is to distract your mind. Your positive state of mind will degenerate at that moment. When the positive state of mind is degenerate, the negative state of mind will become more manifest. So then you have a great chances of engaging in all sort of actions, which will bring about suffering for yourself.
我从这里也多问的哟，咱娘们这个没了学说呢，可能女个嘛，因那样学不的女比例建议咱能这个嘛的说是吧？咱娘这个得没得听，你只能得把那比例建设说了叫，咱娘们这个没了学说就哪个嘛的哇？因那样可学不的搞的，女比例建议咱能这个嘛的说的了。他跟龙阳现在也那你是看了。
In the vanilla text, it has said that stated that even though that you have a very, small and very light whip that you use to hit someone, even though another individual has no experience any pain out of hitting that a really light and small whip. But then, someone who is engaging in such an act is accumulating negative deeds. But he or she is out of intention wanted to hit that person.
他谈到你落在这个偏过来说对你们就是昨天他就说呢，上街东区吧，上街大家来偏的，但得偏去，但对去，他落么个，他想把生意多来这样，想把啥？西面对我家他们啦，想去三把，前两年把当时，他就太老个的，想把什么？想去三把前两年把当时，绕的凶啊，开机，得到的给介绍，这边呢，年把。下边马六本这本就说写先生，得到对吧？我把你小我把你写呢，让下边下我是写东他们进把写件事，学东本这本呢没写把大就完觉得，得到呢7月来建议那些俺明白的是，就话刚写呢得到的是，别那送的。
So here, furthermore, you might think that even where you, no, I'm going back again from the light here, Maitreya, okay. The next paragraph. Maitreya in the future, in the final 500 years period of the teaching, the sudden renouncers and householders, bodhisattvas, will claim that sinful karma is completely exhausted through confessing the fault. They will disclose the infraction, saying after we have become involved in sin, we will confess it, but they will not restrain themselves from doing it again. I tell you that they possess the fatal karma. What do I mean by the fatal karma? For example, Lasapena. No.
되게 단다 그렇게 해서는 춘춘지전에 치세전에 자산은 되게 말해요. 근데 대신 오늘 세트도 가서 동안이나 가리에나 춘춘의 치세전에 자때 신실라 당세 마제와이나 아니 두전된 줄을 지세요.
So you should not ignore, even though that's a very the small fraction of declining of your ethical disciplines. You should pay, close attention to that and do it, confess it, and refrain from engaging in such an act in the future, always.
写东他们已经把写进啥，学当本身把那没写把他就完觉得，得到你去来进行那写，俺们嘛点他你多参与吧。就话刚写呢是，就话是开始老生得到的是，别呢都是也没当。你知道吧？ chi du shen roba tongwa na so ro jo yin no so de de nga so tongwa la jin na re dipa ina kare ne chi se chen che sha wa ina ni du chen je se ji ro du sang yin ma da ga re se.
So what do you mean by the fatal? For example, it is like a people who ingest ingest poisons. They create their time of death, and then end up in misguided descent into a miserable realm.
Tisu de be nyan ka chen bo nga so dipa ina ki ha ina chung chung che ya phe ro de be nga so na ma je kha na yin ro wa dipa ina chung chung che ma se na ko ma sha de sha wa ina ko da wa de nyama de lo phe ro ye ni ge wa ina ya ko ji yang hwa ma sha wa ina di ge me ge wa ge sa ro ye chi.
So it is important to know that even though that you engage in a very minor negative deeds, a negative deed has a potential of multiplying it. Once you have engaged in negative deeds without engaging in any confession practice, purifying it, it multiplies greatly. In the same way, if you have engaged in a positive deeds or the virtuous deed, if you lack dedicating those virtuous deed that you have done, then it may degenerate again, due to negative thoughts and emotions. If you dedicate your positive deeds or your virtuous deed, it will always remain as a seed which will be germinated when the time comes.
Pena kanjur sen ro wa pena nga so dipa chung chung chen ko ka chen phe ge se ke che che hi ro pena nga so gi go song gi sheba de mo cha ni mo shung ro de pena chi dipa chung chung je yo so na de go na tipa yang sa si jo no ku sa yu ro.
It is just like a drop of water can fill the huge barrel, right? Or huge drum or containers. In the same manner, with a very small or the minor negative deeds can multiply and become a great.
Nga so ge yu sho gi tipa te da me ge wa sho gi chi tipa ni de ta ji jeng ye so na be je da jan ji dipa so ma wa ye.
We were to analyze the accumulation of negative deeds and accumulation of positive deeds. Without a doubt, the negative deeds accumulation negative is much more greater than the accumulation of positive deeds.
How about the dipa sho te nga so je se ma je no ko me bo cha ge ma re ko ya tra pa na ma so tu ro sha ge.
So once you have engaged in negative deeds, if one has not undertaken any practice, confession practice of applying a forceful antidotes, particularly of committing not to engage in such an act in the future, refraining from engaging in such an act in the future, it will really multiply. It really multiplies greatly.
She she dang xiang ba sa pa bi chu di wa de la du jian xie xia wa ne de da de se do pa bi chu di wa de la du jie xia wa ne de da de sa lo bi ji jie da da jie ba ta la da wa xie ba yin bie chu ji ne du sa wa me jia wo xie song bi xiao ro song du.
So Maitreya, what I call poison in the noble teachings of the discipline is the transgressing the fundamental trainings as I have prescribed them. Therefore, do not eat such poisons.
Do nga so gi xie so na di yi tin de so tin de la so na ji ba de ro di tin de so tin de la so na tin de den ge so na so jin ro ro so ro ro je dang na do gi tin de du s ke ma ro do tin de ya bo ro ko den ge so na ka re long ro ro du sa ji ba ro ge so na se go da so tin ji ba de so tin na di de ge ma ji ma do de ro na so ro re da se lo di ne ma so ka tu xe na pa bi xue de wa ne du jian re se di go ji du jian de go ro da.
Here like now, the reason why we are saying it's like a taking poison is if you really if you fail to observe ethical disciplines. It's just like taking a poisons, right? It is because once you have taken a vows and fail to protect the vows and observe the vows, preserve the vows, you will have a negative consequences. It is due to the result by breaking the vows. Then it says you're eating like you're like taking poisons. You're taking someone who is taking a poisons. So just like if someone who is engaged in general, if someone who is engaged in such a act that are unlawful, and then such an individual will face the consequences, isn't it? Particularly if someone who engages in certain actions which actually he or she will face a capital punishment. So then once a person is actually done something that is unlawful, then such an individual is the one who need to pay the consequences. One will need to pay the price. In the same manner, if you really degenerate your ethical disciplines, you will be the one who actually pays the consequences.
Be kode wo be na gumbi tin de ro gumbi tin de du ja shu re den ge so na nga gumba bi yong wo la so na de tin ji ma ro de nga so gi tin de re gumbi tin la so na gumbi tin de den ge so na ku shi du do gumba bi yong.
Nothing wrong with the ethical discipline. It is nothing wrong with the discipline itself. For instance, let's take an example of the monastic discipline. If individual or the monks or nun who break the certain laws of the monastic, you will be expelled. You will be kicked out from the monastery. That doesn't mean the discipline is bad. Discipline is means for having a pure teachings of the Buddha. It is because the individual who is unable to follow the vows, it's an individual who is unable to follow the rules and regulation of the monastics, and he or she is facing this consequences of may get kicked out from the monastery and so forth. So for us, if we break the law of 10 virtuous actions, then we are the one who are actually paying these consequences of taking rebirth in lower realms. So we can't really say that discipline itself is bad, isn't it? So if you are if we really observe the ethical discipline, purely, then the result is happiness. Happiness is a result. So just like someone who is really following the rules and regulation of the certain, that is required for the certain place or regions, and you will have no worry about it. You'll be happy, and you're in a safe place. But if you fail to follow the rules and regulations, not only that you will face the consequences, But as soon as you fail to follow the rules and regulations, you become worry, and you will be you will be under such a worries. You become so worry, and also you will always remain under the control of your anxiety, and so forth. So therefore, for some, the ethical discipline will bring about happiness, and for some, the ethical discipline will bring about suffering. That is what it's meant. Yeah. So this is not only a religious belief, but we can analyze our subjects, really think carefully. It's a true. It's not something that is taught in such and such texts by the Buddha and so forth. But rather, it is the reality. If you do good, follow the rules, you will be happy. You will have no problem.
It's
not a really religious teaching. So therefore, if you look at the Buddhism, so it has three different levels. The Buddhist science, the level of Buddhist science, Buddhist philosophy, and Buddhist religion. So we can pick from wherever you want, whichever is more suitable for oneself. You can pick from that. You want to pick Buddhist science, you can follow Buddhist science. You want to pick Buddhist philosophy, you can pick a Buddhist philosophy and follow that. You want to pick the Buddhist religion, you can follow the Buddhist religion. Or you want to follow all three, that you can do that too. So you have a choice. Yeah. So we, of course, the faith and having faith is very, very important. But, having faith based on reasoning is equally important. Based on reasoning, in order to have reasoning, you have to go through a critical analysis of what you are studying, what you are doing, what you are practicing. So therefore, we cannot just simply follow the teachings by saying that, oh, this is taught by my teacher. This is what the Buddha taught, and I'm going to follow that. This is not going to help. This is not going to be helpful for us. So we really need to, whatever the teachings a teacher has taught, or the Buddha has taught even, we need to go through a critical analysis. And what really, correspond to the reality, and what's not corresponding to the reality. So it is very important. His Holiness always quote this Buddha's, teachings, sutra, quoting from the sutra by saying that just as the goldsmith analyzes the authenticity of the gold by rubbing, burning and polishing it, in the same manner, Buddha's teaching must be undertaken a critical analysis. So it's particularly in this, in the modern time, it really requires analysis, particularly not only the modern, but also particularly the Western world. It is important to apply, reasonings. In order to apply reasonings, you need to analyze. And reasoning must apply through analyzations, right?
대답이 진짜 송안에 소소답이 담바이나 상하라양 자와이데 본성게 쉬비 줄레 자와게 소소타바이 수진 난단 디오 말리레 마바 침베 따당 초가방 라만나네 녀설라와 샤시 마바 침베장 로정기 따주고 당사 레지 초가다 제바 정비 창가시마도바 디와네 숑아제 샤고바 송바이 송나사 마바다로존 메자 쪼고비 셔로 소도 나 대바도 로셔치네 자위
So let's read through that text here. Given the maintaining vows in such a way applies to one who has taken the vows of individual liberations, it is also similar for one who practiced the mantra vehicles. For the Tantra requested by the Sabua states that even householders, practitioners of the mantra, must act in accordance with the texts on disciplines, except for the matters concerning the marks, robes of the renunciates, the ceremonial activities, and some factors which are merely regulatory of the entire discipline that I can conquer, the conquer, toward the pure ethical disciplines of the individual liberations. Householders, practitioners of the mantra should set aside the signs and the rituals and the practice the rest.
아니 당하서게 뒤토모 멤버는 단답하도 그러와 단 뇌바나 해제 말해야지 가래 준 러시아서는 수준하고 마선에 제샤스 다른 거는 전에게 내가 치수대 치진송 거 봐도 시에서 다 치진송에 니 저완에 저와지되니 다바다 단지 재미 고번은 로 제게니 아니 나나지 아니 타입이 선생님 아니 로투어지 제게니 근데 또 번되는 수비 남아나지 신전로도서 선호 뭐만하잖아 뭐면 지바래.
So let's do the dedications here. Right from the beginning, let's have up until now. What really prevents me from achieving what I long to achieve, which is the ultimate state of happiness? It is because of not being able to observe ethical discipline purely. So from now on, by understanding how important it is for me to observe ethical discipline, follow the ethical disciplines, I will do my best to preserve my ethical discipline and engage in the practice of the moral disciplines from not only this lifetime alone, from the subsequent lifetime, the future lifetime as well, until I gain the state of liberation and enlightenment for the benefit of all other sentient beings.
Sanje Shindu Minde Bewayi Dogun Nanda Shinlo Shubo Jo Gundo Yanda Lama Dan Jimi Chuju Bela Long Shu Jin Sadan Long Ju Yuden Rozo Ne Doju Changi Gopon Yado Jo Guru Rana Mindra Lango Nayan Daya Mi Bele Zonine Kada Yamba Kanshi Sabade Lomi Mare Gedon Jovana 南真教业红波道九七，德摩孙别财绕更多样，江北阳界在月接松年，天别人报更苍狼结交，年年主别接囊年些学，让给接近多别狼结年，学长在月正月头给接。若月月节明报三些年，家业担保有人真纠结，担保人情交给忙交保，家将娘报就别说的难，年纪前不一绕就报也。偏得得得是我写不学，世间教育面向成来来，来住相处能就人别讲，谈得能就一能别得心，教育自保人都讲究些，朗诵主编听见主些经。给见世界没当明明根，才绕更多家园俺把爷，难当这我没纠结，刚才贴吧出了去见住了尊巴天元菜，土地能就大都出西经。扎西江州小根桥九节，古菜朝天经，能够成来小酒结巴当，老上点别这面杀松节，朝月年就节。朝月过夜心刚素，便当的我忙里就业年，现日自往天子家作业，小别身体不多天就节。八月节到千八当，更多上波电阳天经的。铁道根据结识道路线，给我的道堂前绕多光，推送西边家我当姐姐，我刚老求多我不的，大仙月夜早晚的跟讲，从不许去绕多我姐。好呀，回去研究。